This girl lives a very pitiful life. She is bullied by her classmates every single day. Her name is Sophia, and she attends a school for nobles. Because nearly all the students there come from higher-ranking families, almost everyone feels entitled to bully her. Among the bullies, one girl named Carissa is especially cruel. She often leads a group of other girls to mock Sophia, saying she's just a low-ranking noble. On top of that, they make fun of her appearance and ridicule her for having a flat chest. One day, Carissa goes so far as to lock Sophia inside a storage box for several hours, all just to steal Sophia's boyfriend. Sophia falls into deep despair and even considers ending her life. But then, an unexpected twist completely changes her fate. In just 3 days, she becomes the most talked about girl in the entire school. The most handsome nobles in the country all want to marry her. Now, it's Carissa who desires to disappear, and she's consumed by jealousy and rage every single day. To understand how this happens, we need to look at how the world works. In this setting, every person who turns 16 draws an animal card. These cards grant divine blessings from different animal gods, and the power gap between them is huge. Some people grow wings and are able to shoot while flying through the sky. Others gain the speed of a hunting dog, breaking the physical limits of the human body. Lady Luck finally comes to Sophia's side. She draws the Gorilla God, a divine card said to appear only once every 100 years. Curious and uncertain, Sophia privately asks the headmaster about the nature of this mysterious god. Though he has served at the academy for decades, it's the first time he has seen the Gorilla God card. He tells Sophia that this god is considered the strongest combat god of them all. Her future path is already set, which is to become the most powerful battle queen in the kingdom. But Sophia feels troubled. The things she fears most are killing and death. Soon after, Carissa confronts her and demands to know which animal god she drew. Without even waiting for an answer, she starts mocking Sophia again. In truth, Carissa doesn't care what Sophia's card is. She just enjoys making her suffer. Feeling downhearted, Sophia eats lunch alone. As always, in this noble academy, the higher one's title, the more popular they become. Kindness is the least valued trait. Sophia has long grown used to the loneliness. Just then, she spots a squirrel nearby. She tears off a piece of her bread and shares it. From that moment on, the squirrel becomes a constant companion, forging a long-lasting bond with Sophia. After school, Sophia is summoned to the headmaster's office. There, she is informed that she must participate in the Royal Knight Order's entrance exam. Because of the immense power granted by the Gorilla God, nearly everyone chosen by it ends up joining the Royal Knight Order. Sophia becomes anxious. She worries that if she refuses, she might face punishment, so she pretends to agree and secretly plans to fail the test on purpose. On her way to the examination site, she comes across an old man struggling to move a heavy load. Sophia uses her newfound strength and easily lifts it, showing power far beyond Captain America. After finishing the task, she realizes she has lost her way. At this moment, a boy who's slightly more handsome than me appears. His name is Louis. He points Sophia in the right direction and gently wipes the dirt off her face. In that instant, Sophia feels like she has fallen in love. But reality quickly pulls her back. At the test site, she notices she is the only girl present, which makes her extremely nervous. What surprises her even more is that the examiner for today's test is none other than Louis. The test soon begins. The first part evaluates explosive power with a 100-meter sprint. A boy named Arshent volunteers to go first. He finishes in just 9 seconds, a result that comes close to the world record on Earth. If not for Sophia, he would have taken first place in the explosive power test. However, blessed by the Gorilla God, Sophia unleashes incredible force. She crashes straight through a wall and sprints several hundred meters in the same time it took Arshent to run just 100. Moments ago, people were mocking Sophia, assuming she would be the slowest. Now, everyone falls silent. Sophia herself feels incredibly embarrassed. The second round of the test is more dangerous. Participants must first climb to the top floor, then descend quickly along the building's exterior using a rope. While many are frozen by fear of heights, a boy named Eddie begins without hesitation. His flexibility and reflexes impress everyone. Arshent, who performed so well in the previous round, now cowers in a corner, terrified of heights. Wanting to help, Sophia suggests climbing down together. At first, things go smoothly, but halfway through, Arshent's rope snaps unexpectedly. Sophia catches him with one hand, and together they land safely on the ground. Even Louis is stunned by what he just witnessed. He pulls Sophia aside afterward, having noticed her hand was injured while saving Arshent. He gently tends to her wound and suddenly takes her hand in his. Many people, when facing death, quickly recall the major events of their lives. At this moment, Sophia feels like she is about to die. She suspects that Louis is about to confess to her. Sophia believes she must have done a lot of good deeds in the past, and the god is rewarding her with a handsome husband. In reality, Louis is simply curious about Sophia's hand. The strength she showed while saving someone is something Louis finds hard to understand. Fortunately, he respects Sophia's privacy and does not press her for answers. Sophia feels relieved that treating her injury took so long. The third round of the test is a combat trial. She assumes she will score 0 in this round, which means she will surely fail the overall assessment. The results will be announced in a few days. On the way home with Arshent, Sophia learns that Louis is a true genius. Even before receiving the blessing of a god at 16, he had already joined the Royal Knights using his own strength. They are chatting when they suddenly see several people who participated in today's test surrounding Eddie, trying to stop him from leaving. These people, just like Carissa, act like bullies, relying on their superior family backgrounds. They mock Eddie for being an illegitimate child. Sophia and Arshent try to help Eddie, but they become targets of the bullies' retaliation. Arshent shields Sophia from the attack, and Eddie, no longer willing to endure, knocks one of the bullies down. One of them, holding stereotypical views about women, assumes Sophia is the weakest among them. To his surprise, Sophia sends him flying into a tree. After the conflict ends, Eddie, having observed Sophia's performance today, guesses that her animal god is the gorilla. Arshent has great physical strength. Eddie possesses top-level intelligence. What he lacks most is the power of the gorilla god, which makes him deeply envious of Sophia. He mentions that there are two most powerful combat gods on the continent, and one of them is the gorilla god. The classic trio appears once again. Eddie always wears a blank expression, much like Uchiha Sasuke from Naruto. Arshent resembles Uzumaki Naruto, while our protagonist Sophia shares the kindness of Haruno Sakura. These three young people form a deep friendship through today's experiences. For a moment, Sophia truly hopes to pass the test so she can stay with them. As if the god has heard Sophia's wish, the headmaster informs her that she has passed the test. Interestingly, Eddie and Arshent have transferred into Sophia's class. They treat Sophia with warmth and familiarity, which stirs Carissa's dissatisfaction. During the break, Sophia specifically asks Eddie and Arshent to keep everything about the gorilla god and the Royal Knights a secret. She simply wants to keep a low profile to avoid triggering Carissa's jealousy and pranks. Sophia's wish does not come true. She discovers that Louis has also appeared at the school. Louis usually spends most of his time handling duties in the Knights, but he is also a student of the Noble Academy. He takes the initiative to talk to her. Sophia notices the killing intent in her classmate's eyes and immediately stops Louis from continuing the conversation. The thing she fears the most finally happens. From that day on, Carissa starts bothering Sophia more frequently than ever. During lunch, Sophia is no longer as lonely as she used to be. Many people now watch the trio closely, especially since Louis joins them as well. He enjoys sitting next to Sophia during meals. To avoid drawing attention, Sophia eats a few bites quickly and escapes. Louis is very considerate. Noticing that Sophia did not eat enough, he specially brings her some muffins. This pushes Carissa's jealousy to its breaking point. They start bothering Sophia several times a day, and their mockery becomes increasingly cruel. This leads to the next scene, where during the night corps assembly, Arshent notices that Sophia looks exhausted. At this moment, a few men catch Sophia's attention. The man leading them is none other than the captain of the Royal Knight Corps, Schwal. While welcoming the newcomers, he notices that Sophia's long hair might block her vision and affect her combat performance. So, Schwal offers the suggestion to trim her long hair. That night, Sophia tries to cut her hair by herself, but ends up ruining it. She decides to wait until morning and find a salon to fix her hairstyle. While out, Sophia unexpectedly runs into Louis on patrol. She quickly asks where she can find a salon. Louis takes her straight to someone he knows. When Sophia sees the shop owner, she is completely stunned. The barber is bald, with a scar across his face and a cruel expression. Rather than calling him a barber, most people would believe he is a demon king. Louis explains to Sophia that the barber used to be a member of the Knight Corps, but he looks more like a villain. After the haircut, Sophia is delighted. Her hairstyle has been saved. More importantly, Louis pays for the haircut. He apologizes for not reminding Sophia about her hair earlier, which led to the captain's criticism. Sophia is deeply touched and wants to find a chance to thank Louis. At this moment, she notices Louis staring at a cake shop. When she asks, she learns that Louis loves eating cakes. However, most of the shop's customers are women, and Louis feels too embarrassed to go in alone. Sophia knows this is her chance to repay him. She invites Louis for afternoon tea. The girls watching them are divided between adoring Louis and wanting to kill Sophia. Interestingly, Louis usually acts as mature as someone in his 30s, but the moment he steps into the cake shop, he turns into a child. He even orders more than a dozen desserts at once. Sophia senses that the atmosphere is just right, so she deliberately asks Louis about his romantic life. The result makes her very happy. Louis has extensive experience on the battlefield but absolutely none when it comes to love, which makes him the perfect target to win over and bring home as a husband. During their conversation, Louis tells Sophia that he has already guessed her animal god is the gorilla. Only that god could grant someone such immense strength. While they chat like friends, there's also a feeling of budding romance. However, it is still too soon for confessions or starting a relationship. After their afternoon tea, a sudden question comes to Sophia's mind. What kind of god would bless someone as gentle as Louis? At the same time, several captains of the Night Corps are gathered together. They are reviewing Sophia's file, each hoping to recruit the girl blessed by the gorilla god. Soon, one of the captains takes the first move. He is Adler, the captain of the shooting unit. With a pair of wings on his back, he can fire at high speed while flying, and his marksmanship earns him the admiration of all the new recruits. During shooting practice, the newcomers perform awkwardly since most of them have never handled firearms before. Sophia, in particular, struggles to control the strength granted by the gorilla god and accidentally crushes the gun in her hand. Adler is not angry. Instead, he treats Sophia with kindness and understanding. That night, all the Night Corps leaders, from the captains to the commanders, gather for a meeting. A fierce argument breaks out among them. There is only one issue on the table, which is everyone wants to recruit Sophia. Sophia runs into big trouble when her family sends her a red dress to wear to the school party. She realizes that if she wears such a flashy color, it will definitely attract Carissa's attention. If that happens, she knows she will become a target of school bullying again. Sophia hides the dress in her closet and, on the day of the party, she puts on an old dress she wore back in middle school. At this moment, Carissa enters with her dance partner Leahart and mocks Sophia's dress, calling it cheap. She also tells Sophia that without a male partner, she is not allowed to attend the party. Sophia feels extremely embarrassed and, while trying to leave, she bumps into the most famous boy in school, Louis. What happens next is probably exactly what you are thinking. Louis becomes Sophia's dance partner. The girls at the party feel extremely jealous, especially Carissa. She brings along two other girls to try and mess with Sophia. However, they do not expect Sophia, with the help of the gorilla god, to avoid the trap, but a greater danger is on its way. Louis tells Sophia that the Knight's Order has received a letter from a mysterious organization claiming that a bomb has been planted at the party. Many of the attendees are children of nobles, and their parents believe they must not show weakness in the face of threats, firmly refusing to cancel the event. Louis attends the party to secretly investigate whether the bomb truly exists or if it is just a prank. The other guests at the party are unaware of the situation with the bomb. Right now, all their attention is focused on Sophia, and a strong sense of jealousy is rapidly spreading through the venue. At this moment, Carissa shows up again with her classmates to mess with Sophia. Louis steps in to stop them, but he reacts a little too late, and Sophia's dress gets torn. Louis wraps his own coat around the exposed part of her body and decides to go buy a new gown for her. Sophia does not want Louis to delay his investigation of the bomb, so she quickly explains that she still has another dress. As a result, she is forced to wear the red dress. At this moment, she runs into Carissa's dance partner, Leahart. The man seems strange and stops Sophia from leaving, clearly showing an unusual interest in her. Just then, Arshent and Eddie come to find Sophia, and only then does Leahart leave in a hurry. They are also helping Louis investigate the bomb, but so far they have made no progress and suspect that the bomb might not exist at all. They decide to return to the party. Eddie, who is skilled in styling, casually gives Sophia a new hairstyle. From them, Sophia learns that the party never had a rule requiring attendees to bring a dance partner. Carissa does not feel guilty for lying. Instead, she feels angry because Sophia is getting close to the boys. She quickly comes up with another prank. She sends a girl named Irani, who usually is not close to her, to approach Sophia. Irani lies and says she has lost an earring. Sophia does not expect Irani to be one of Carissa's accomplices, and her kindness leads her to help with the search. Misled by Irani, Sophia crawls into a wooden box. The sound of a lock clicking follows immediately, and just like that, Sophia is trapped inside. Sophia can easily smash the wooden box using the power of the gorilla god, but doing so would cause Carissa to blame Irani for not completing the prank. Sophia hesitates for a moment but ultimately decides she does not want to implicate Irani. At this moment, an accident happens. A group of students comes to move things, and they accidentally take the wrong item. That is how Sophia and the wooden box get carried away. She cannot let things spiral out of control. After the boys leave, Sophia breaks the wooden box. Just as she gains her freedom, she sees a squirrel and recognizes it as the one she had fed before. Sophia does not have many friends, so she tells all her thoughts to this little animal. Even though Irani deceived her, Sophia still wants to protect that girl from Carissa's wrath. She also does not return immediately for another reason. She wants to give the girls who like Louis a chance. The squirrel seems to understand and is very shocked that someone can be so kind. Then Sophia hears a noise outside. Worried it might be related to the bomb, she goes out to check but is spotted by two suspicious men. They try to capture Sophia. Unfortunately for them, they pick the wrong person. Relying on the power and speed granted by the gorilla god, Sophia easily catches the attackers. The two men are desperate, feeling like Sophia is the real villain. At this moment, the recently missing squirrel appears and leads Sophia to the bomb. The two captured men would rather die in the explosion than reveal how to defuse the bomb. With the time until detonation rapidly running out, there is no time to find help. Sophia comes up with a plan that is extremely risky. She grabs the bomb and jumps from the upper floor, then uses the power of the gorilla god to sprint at full speed. Sophia wants to go to a place far away from the crowd to prevent anyone she knows from being hurt by the bomb. She arrives in the yard where there is no one. Sophia kicks the bomb high into the sky. The blooming fireworks mix with the exploding bomb, and no one notices anything unusual except Leahart, who is aware of the truth. At this moment, Sophia's friends arrive and learn from her about the mysterious person who invaded and planted the bomb. While they are talking, Louis also appears. He acts somewhat cold toward Sophia, as if he has gone through something unusual during that recent time. The good news is that Carissa and her small team come to apologize to Sophia. Their behavior yesterday was seen by other students who reported it to the teachers. The bomb caused Sophia to almost lose her life. Carissa's character is indeed terrible, but in the end, she never intended to kill Sophia. Sophia confirms that Carissa is truly remorseful, so she forgives her. For Sophia, she still has many important things to do and does not want to stay in a long-term hostile relationship with Carissa. In the following period, the Knights discover that the bomb was planted by members of an organization opposing the king. Unfortunately, the two intruders have already escaped, and no further information could be obtained. For Sophia, there is also bad news. Since the party, she has not seen Louis again. Just then, the Knights rookies begin a special training session, finally shifting Sophia's attention. They arrive at a snowy mountain where the temperature is low and people can't see clearly. The trainee knights carry heavy loads as they climb to the lodging site at the summit to stay overnight and will only descend the next day. The trainee knights' physical conditions vary. Sophia, blessed by the gorilla god, can barely hold on. Eddie's stamina is on the verge of collapse and he accidentally falls to the ground during the climb. Trying to save him, Sophia falls off a cliff. When Sophia wakes up from her unconsciousness, she has no idea how much time has passed, but her physical condition is good. Nearby, she finds a wooden cabin and plans to spend the night there. Sophia realizes she lost her fire-starting tools, and just as she is about to go back to look for them, outside the door appear her lost fire-starting tools and a squirrel. Sophia no longer has to freeze to death. She notices that this squirrel looks very much like the one from school. Before she has time to examine it carefully, she falls into a deep sleep from exhaustion. At dawn, Sophia finds a naked man beside her. It is really Louis. Sophia suspects this is a hallucination before her death, which is why she is seeing the most desired and exciting scene. It is only when Louis wakes up that Sophia realizes this is not a hallucination. Louis asks Sophia to help him retrieve some equipment he lost nearby. He feels very shy and explains why he ended up like this. Louis receives special favor from the squirrel god. While most people only get their physical condition improved, Louis can temporarily transform into a squirrel. This ability has a troublesome aspect. He cannot control the time when he transforms into a human. Yesterday, after Sophia fell off the cliff, Louis jumped down after her. Since squirrels have excellent tracking abilities in the snow, he was forced to transform in order to search for her. By the time he found the fire-starting tools and reached the cabin, his stamina was completely exhausted, and he fell unconscious. Louis tells Sophia that the squirrel at school was also him. At this moment, Sophia feels extremely embarrassed, as she had shared all her feelings for Louis with that squirrel. Louis's face turns red as well. His feelings for Sophia are complicated. When he first heard her confession, he wasn't sure how to deal with it, which is why he had been somewhat distant afterward. When he saw Sophia fall off the cliff, he almost instinctively jumped after her. At that moment, he became certain that he had fallen in love with this girl. Brave and kind. These are the words that define Sophia. She has completely won over Louis's heart. Just like in every classic romance story, Sophia finally finds her happiness. In an instant, the temperature inside the cabin seems to rise several degrees thanks to Louis's heartfelt confession. Just as Louis is about to kiss Sophia, the door is suddenly kicked open by Arshent. Louis is pushed away like a cannonball, landing in the snow with his fate unknown. Arshent's rescue arrives at the worst possible moment. After their special training wraps up, the Christmas holidays finally arrive. The school throws a Christmas party for the students staying behind. At the party, Sophia finally gets to see Louis. They hadn't seen each other since confessing their feelings. Acting on all the longing he's been holding in, Louis pulls Sophia into a tight hug. The ever-timid Sophia is terrified of being seen by the other girls, but at the same time, she cherishes the warmth of the moment. Soon enough, Louis's immense popularity pulls them apart, and Sophia is left to navigate the party alone. Thankfully, her two friends, Eddie and Arshent, are there to bring some warmth back to her evening. To thank Sophia for her help during the special training, Eddie gives her a hair clip, and for the first time, a hint of a blush appears on the stoic boy's face. Right after, Arshent asks to speak with Sophia alone and gives her a scarf. The truth is, he's had a crush on her ever since the day of the Royal Knight's entrance exam. He meant for the gift to be a confession, but he was so nervous he couldn't get the words out, making Sophia think it was just a friendly present. Arshent is absolutely crushed to be friend-zoned so suddenly. Sophia, on the other hand, is on cloud 9. Since Louis couldn't give her his present at the party, he comes to her dorm to find her. Sophia isn't used to celebrating holidays and hasn't prepared a gift. But, seeing how he was swarmed by girls at the party, she figured he never got a chance to eat, so she packed some pastries for him. To Louis, Sophia's thoughtfulness is more precious than any gift. But then, he notices the other presents Sophia has received and gets intensely jealous, wanting to announce their relationship right then and there. Sophia, however, is worried that she'll be bullied by the other girls out of jealousy and asks to keep things quiet for now. Seeing how troubled she is, Louis doesn't push it. Instead, he decides the best he can do is to finish the kiss they started on that romantic night. After they kiss, the sweet, romantic mood is off the charts. Maybe because it was their first real kiss, they're both a little flustered, and they accidentally stumble and fall onto the sofa. Obviously, they weren't planning on taking their relationship any further that night and quickly said their goodbyes. But I bet Louis will regret that, because his list of rivals is only getting longer. One day, Adler from the shooting team is dodging his swarm of girlfriends when he spots Sophia on patrol in town. He just can't reconcile the image of this delicate-looking girl with the legend of the gorilla, so he follows her. It's only when he sees her single-handedly take down two beefy guys who were causing trouble for the townspeople that he becomes truly interested. He invites Sophia to afternoon tea, but she turns him down, a first for Adler. The feeling of rejection leaves him completely dejected. Also feeling down in the dumps are Arshent and Eddie. Even on their break, all they can think about is Sophia, worrying that she might already have a crush on someone else. Sophia, meanwhile, is completely oblivious to all this, caught up in her own troubles. Carissa saw her doing her Royal Knight's duties. Although she and Carissa have already made up, Sophia wants to keep a low profile and has been hiding her involvement with the Royal Knights from her classmates. But since they reconciled, Carissa's personality has changed dramatically. Not only does she not make fun of Sophia, but she even says it's cool that Sophia got into the Royal Knights. She then immediately starts asking Sophia about the other members of the Knights, hoping to pick one out for a boyfriend. Sophia is confused. She always thought Leahart was Carissa's boyfriend. Carissa explains that Leahart was the one who approached her before the ball and asked to be her escort. After the ball ended, she never saw him again. It looks like this Leahart guy is hiding some big secrets. Sometime later, the Royal Knights hold another military competition. Since Sophia's guardian is a gorilla, putting her on the level of a war god, it would be unfair for her to compete directly, so she's assigned to the rescue team. But it doesn't seem like she'll be sitting on the sidelines. In the race for supplies, everyone needs to find a partner who is strong, can run at 40 kilometers per hour, and is trustworthy, and since Sophia checks all those boxes, she becomes the person everyone wants on their team. Thanks to his quick reflexes and the bonus of being the boyfriend, Louis manages to snag Sophia first and win the event. Halfway through the competition, the Royal Knights get an urgent message. A nearby resort hotel has collapsed, and many tourists have been swept into the sea and need immediate rescue. In an instant, every member of the Knights shifts into combat mode and rushes to the scene. Thankfully, with the help of the Royal Knights, the tourists are all rescued safely. But then, Sophia learns that Carissa was also vacationing at that very spot and is still trapped in the water. Panicked, Sophia completely forgets that she can't swim and jumps into the sea to save her. Just as she's about to go under, Louis saves her. They say love gives you both armor and a weakness. Not long ago, Louis lost a swimming race to a knight who is protected by an orca, but with the one he loves in danger, his potential is unlocked, and he manages to reach her at the exact same time as the other knight. After the chaos subsides, Sophia finds Louis, and the two enjoy a rare moment alone. The fireworks lighting up the sky add a romantic touch to the scene. But of course, Arshent, the ultimate third wheel, appears at the worst possible time. Soon after, Sophia and Louis went on their first date. Little did they know, danger was closing in on them. That night, after their date, Sophia and Louis were attacked. Luckily, she was protected by the gorilla god and easily dealt with the two attackers. To her surprise, one of the attackers opened a glass bottle containing an unknown gas before falling to the ground. In the next second, Sophia felt all her strength drain away. Just then, Leahart arrived quickly and forced a pill into her mouth. At the same time, with a loud bang, a bomb exploded in a corner of the city. When Sophia woke up, she had no memory of what happened. That's when Leahart appeared and lied, saying Sophia had been attacked by thugs and poisoned, and that he had brought her to this safe place to detox. Then, Leahart pulled out a glass necklace and introduced himself. He was the leader of an organization opposing the king. He founded this organization because he wanted to change the unfair treatment in the country. Even though everyone at 16 could be protected by an animal deity, there were still rankings among the animals. Those protected by lower-ranked animal deities were tormented by nobles. He and his companions grew up together in the slums. One day, Duke Namir found him and promised to provide food for all the children in the slums if Leahart would become his adopted son. Although Leahart was reluctant to leave his friends, he thought about how the children wouldn't have to worry about food anymore and agreed to the request. Soon after, Leahart was protected by the leopard god, bringing endless glory to the Duke Namir family. Duke Namir hoped he would serve the nobility and told him not to associate with his slum companions anymore. In fact, to prevent Leahart's slum companions from holding him back, Duke Namir burned down the slums and even killed Leahart's best friend. After finishing his story, he revealed that leopards are the only animals that can hunt gorillas, so their cooperation gives them an absolute advantage in battle. Before Sophia could react, Leahart forcefully put the glass necklace on Sophia, compelling her to join his organization. Seeing the necklace her beloved had given her destroyed, Sophia was furious and attacked Leahart. She knew she was no match for Leahart, so she took advantage of his momentary surprise and escaped. Leahart, protected by the leopard, proved his speed. He arrived at the school even faster than Sophia, intending to hold the noble children hostage and force their parents to join his cause. The royal knights received the news and quickly arrived at the school to begin rescue operations. Upon her arrival, Sophia immediately rescued her classmates, and together they worked to free students from other classes. Just then, Arshent and Eddie also arrived. When they learned that Louis was already battling Leahart in the school chapel, they decided to go together to help. On their way, they encountered an enemy protected by ants. This foe could easily lift objects 100 times heavier than himself, so they were constantly bombarded with massive stones. Luckily, Sophia is protected by a gorilla, and with her help, they easily dodged the first few attacks. However, when their enemy threw the church bell at them, they were completely scattered. Sophia fell into the chapel with the bell and saw Louis defeated by Leahart. Leahart believed Louis was the one preventing Sophia from partnering with him. He thought that by killing Louis, Sophia would choose to be with him, and they would become the strongest duo in the world, rewriting the country's rules. Sophia, though she disliked how people were ranked based on their protected animals, believed there had to be a more reasonable way to change the current situation, so she rejected Leahart. Enraged, Leahart decided to kill Sophia and wait for the next person protected by a gorilla to appear. In that critical moment, love spurred Louis to continue fighting Leahart despite his injuries. In terms of combat power, he was no match for Leahart. Just then, Adler arrived with Eddie and the rifleman, but Leahart was incredibly fast. Bullets couldn't even accurately target him. Given the situation, Louis decided to use his wits. He transformed into a squirrel and rushed towards the chandelier at the top of the chapel, attempting to use it to knock Leahart unconscious. Sophia noticed this and began to cooperate with Louis's actions. With a loud crash, Leahart was injured and fell to the ground, successfully captured. The anti-king organization was also completely dismantled by the royal knights. At the end of the story, Louis graduated from school and was promoted to a full-fledged knight. Of course, he also became Sophia's knight forever. Congratulations, you've finished another anime on my channel. Feel free to rate it in the comment section. Also, my channel has many other fun anime reviews, and I hope they can help you pass the time. Finally, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.